Hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Thursday. It is so good to be back. Thank you, Kaylee, for taking over the last two episodes as I took my much needed break.
Yeah, absolutely. And it feels good to take a step back and just spend some time on you, which is so important. But we're really excited for today's topic as our podcast is mainly positive talk because that's what we want to bring into this world. But we want
Time
to
to be
cover,
real.
right? Yeah, we want
We
to
also gotta be real.
be real and bring in some of the real life things.
Mhm. So we talk a lot about, money and mindset and being a good person. And, I took the time off because I had some company over who were visiting. And then during that time, something awful happened. I had a rental property and the tenants completely destroyed it, tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage. And if you guys are investors, you most likely know that owners and landlords don't have many rights. Like insurance doesn't cover it. They can break into up to a certain time, and they can literally just destroy your property. And so that's what's happening right now. And there was a day, well, maybe a couple of hours, where my husband and I really had a rough time with it because it took us a long time to get to where we are, and we're really good people, and it doesn't matter how many people try to bash us down, and internet trolls and people who try to bring us down. We know that we're good people. And we were questioning that saying, nice guys always finish last, right? Like we were questioning that. And so we've been doing like a lot of soul searching these last couple of days and wondering why the police take their side when clearly they did an illegal act, and why good people who try to do good in this world end up in sticky situations like this, right? And so when things go sideways. But I wanted to come on here today and really share my story and everything that has happened, and how you have the ability to change the circumstances. And I want to do a little quote from the Bible, because that's where I was reading that, and Neville Goddard. And Neville Goddard talks about reprogramming the situation. So people who have trauma, right? People who have past trauma. And this is a trauma for me. This is a trauma because I was, broke, and I was about to lose everything. And I finally just got on my feet this year. Like, this is my first rental property, and they were living there for only 8 months, and everything went crazy. And the thing is that we vowed not to be one of those like slumlords. Like, we wanted to be an actual good landlord. It's a great community, it's a family neighborhood, and we just got the wrong people in. And that's part of us too. Like, when the police blamed us, I said, you know what, you're absolutely right. This part was my fault, and I am absolutely taking the blame for it. However, it doesn't give them the right to be fucking assholes. It doesn't give you the right as a human being to be a fucking prick. Okay, be a human being first. And so I was just doing some soul searching, and Neville Goddard says that you can rewrite what happened. And of course, forgiveness is always going to be the key to manifesting.
Yeah, oh,
Absolutely.
I was like, are we froze? But yeah, it's absolutely right. Like, there's so many times in my life, and people listening too, where you're just a good person and shitty things still happen. And I mean, when shitty things happen to good people, all of the questioning does come in, because it's like, why is this happening to me? Why did this, like, all of the questions come in. And when that happens, and a really big thing that I've learned this past 2 years too, with things going sideways in all different areas, is that you have to have that strong mindset,
Yeah.
because it's so easy for just the things to pile up and keep happening, and the questions in your head to start spiraling into doubt. And when that happens and you don't stay strong, then it's almost just like a breakdown. I had one recently. It's because I was forgetting to deal with things.
Yeah.
And when the shitty things happen, it's shitty, and all of the questions come, right? So you have to stay strong in that mindset.
Absolutely. And when it comes to money, money is very emotional. right? Because you're literally working hard for your money. So then when something like this happens where you finally get ahead, yeah, you know that saying, I get one step ahead and 10 steps back. So when you finally feel like you're ahead and something like traumatic like this happens and you have to dish out tens of thousands of dollars of your hard-earned money, it's very emotional, right? And it's easy to cause blame, right? It's easier to cause blame than it is to give forgiveness. And so in the Bible, and I just, me, I'm not a big religious person. However, I do believe that the Bible, all types of Bibles, were the first form of like personal growth. And so I was gifted this beautiful Bible, and I just, whenever I'm having a shitty mindset, I just open it, and wherever it lands, that's the message that I'm supposed to hear. So yesterday I opened it because yesterday I was fearful and I was afraid, and I'm like, why does this keep happening? And I was questioning, my faith, and I was questioning, the universe, and like, why do bad people prevail, right? And so I opened it. I ended up opening it to Luke 12:22 to 34, and it says, Jesus told his disciples not to be worriers. Right? So not to be worriers, because what does worrying do? If you spend your time focusing on the worry, like Donald Trump said when he was $10 billion in bankruptcy, he says, if I'm focusing on the worry, I'm not focusing on the solution. Right? So it's focusing on that solution. It says here, what examples from nature did he say to consider as evidence that worry is not worth your time and energy? What reasons did Jesus give for you not to worry?
Mm-hmm.
Because worry just causes stress, anxiety, pimples, weight gain, right? It's what can you, and my husband kept asking, like, why are you so calm? I'm like, what can we do about it? It's done. There's nothing we can do about it. Even the lawyer says you have to prove it. You have to prove everything. So I can spend more money on lawyers' fees and trying to prove it, and then they just fucking come back and do it again, right? Because there's despiteful people out there. There will always be despiteful people out there.
Yeah, and it is. It's a shame, and that's where your like mindset is everything, and thoughts are crazy if you can't control them. Or sorry, not if you can't, because you can if you won't control them. Because if you're having those doubtful thoughts start and you don't control them, for instance, I had a breakdown recently too because I've been stressed for different situations, but I sat down and I sat there, and this is real life. Sarah and I are real people, and shit happens to us too. So I was literally sitting there and I started thinking of one bad thing. The next one came, the next one. And then before I knew it, I was sitting there crying, and then I was getting my anger was raising. Like, that's what you do to yourself, right? It's a thought that you're thinking, which spirals, then gets your body not at ease, which brings disease in the body, right? Just like Bob Proctor says, it's disease is just dis-ease. Your body's not at ease, and it's because of the thoughts you're thinking. So same thing happened. I sat there and I was so I had like the questions and everything going on, and my husband was standing there and he's like there's nothing we can do about it. So I sat there and I thought, like, there's literally nothing I can do about it. And that's the thing in life is we can't control situations and circumstances. We can't control those, right? But the thing that we can always control is our thoughts and our mindset. And if you have that in check, and if that is tight, what's going to happen is you're going to get into these situations because shitty things still happen, but it's going to be the difference of reacting in them versus, looking at the situation and responding to it.
So in the Bible, Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1 talks about faith in action, right? And so Neville Goddard also talks about having faith, right? So it says here, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. So it's having faith that everything will work out in your favor. Is it going to work out in your favor if you're responding and you're an asshole and you try to get even? No, it's not going to work out. It's actually going to create more, right? So you have to kind of let it, it's like the rain. You got to let it take its course. You got to let it finish, and then you deal with the destruction afterwards. So you just wait, you just let it finish. Like, these guys fucking destroyed every door in the house. Like, this is how vindictive they were. They took every door off. They took all the light bulbs. They took all the batteries. They smashed open windows. They smashed open doors. They changed the locks and stole all the locks. So I've already paid like $1,000 worth of locks, right? So they're just vindictive because they think that they think that they're hurting me, but they're really hurting themselves, right? Because the house that I own is a beautiful house. It's not an apartment building. Like, you get half an acre, like, you're in a good community, you're right by the mailbox, you're right by everything, right? It's a great house to be in. But now they'll never get a reference from me, right? They'll never get that from me. And the neighbors complained, and they were the ones who called the cops. So they're digging themselves deeper, right? So by us not responding and by forgiving them, because we're forgiving them, sending them love, maybe they'll change their course. Also, this is just proven here what happens when you don't have a goal, right? When you don't have a goal, what addicts do. So they're addicts. Like, they destroyed our house with cigarettes and weed and booze, and the neighbors complain that they always have people over there and they can see them like smoking and inside the house. This is what happens when you have no goals.
Absolutely. And the thing is that this shows you as well a complete reflection of yourself and what's going on inside, right? So in both situations, when you're a good person and shitty things happen and you still stay strong because you're going to get through it some way or other, you're going to get through it. It's got to be what it's got to be, and you keep that strong mental attitude. But look, on the other hand, those people clearly don't have much of a life if that's the lifestyle they're living, and have no emotion behind a house, and that it's literally provided a roof over their head for them, right? And went to the destruction. What is that person feeling inside? Clearly they're not happy with themselves, because they wouldn't treat their mindset that way, let alone somebody's physical property, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, looking at all of the shitty situations in life on both sides, you can see the exact thing that's happening within somebody, and those are the people that will always be that way if you don't change it, right? And you can see that. You can see generations of it.
Yeah. So they're in their young 20s, right? And so I was a drug addict. I was a drug addict all throughout my 20s, my entire 20s and my early 30s. I was a drug addict. So I understand not having goals and ambitions. I never destructed property. I never broke the law. I never did anything like that. But I know what it's like not to have ambitions and to be pissed off at the world. Like, I was pissed off at the world all the time. And I did have those thoughts of, I wish I could just do this and get away with it. Well, apparently you can do it and get away with it. But I've never been that person. And don't get me wrong, I'm not Mother Teresa. I've had my fair share of shit that I did growing up, but I've never defaced property or hurt anybody to that emotion, right? And so I know what it's like to have that mentality of like, okay, what am I going to do to get back at somebody? How can I make money? How can I make this turn into my favor to make money, right? Like, they hurt me, how can I hurt them, right? So that's that vindictive mentality. But now it's, how can I forgive them? How can I forgive them and get past this so that I can move on? And it took me a long time to get here, and I'm still working on it, guys, every single day. Like, it is not an easy thing to do when somebody destroys something that you love and you worked so hard for. It is very hard. And now I understand those people who forgiven murderers and people who sexually molested them or their kids. Like, I understand how hard it is to forgive somebody like that and to move on. But I also now realize the weight that it lifts off of your chest, because there was a huge rock on my chest for like 3 days. And now that I'm working towards forgiveness, I can feel it opening up. I can feel love and light coming in. I can feel source and universe having my back. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that everything is going to work out positively in my favor, because I do believe that good will override evil, even though it seems that evil is always at our doorstep. I truly believe that good will always overcome evil. And again, Hebrews chapter 11, verse 3, it says, by faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. So I have faith in the invisible.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's the only way that you can get through the hard situations and the hard things in life, is keeping that, you know, good person forefront, and just literally ride the wave and stay as strong as you can and as positive as you can, and look for the good in it. As hard as it is, there's always a lesson and good in it, right? Because that's literally the only way you can get through it. And I wanted to go back to when you said like these people don't have goals, and they do. Their goal is just that they want, you know, that life. That's their goal, is every single day they want that. And I was on some training the other day, and this actually came up, Sarah, and he said, you know, when somebody does something in life, it's because they're emotionally invested in it, right? They feel good, it's everything to them. And he said, when you're, you know, even selling something to somebody, you want them to be emotionally invested, right? So they feel good about it, right? Just like a drug dealer or somebody who's addicted to drugs, they will literally do anything, sell anything, do anything to get that drug, because they're so emotionally invested in it that that's their goal, and they'll do anything to get it. And most of the time they do.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't do it in the right way, obviously, all the shit that they do to get it, but they're emotionally invested in it. So when shitty things happen to you on the flip side and it's a positive thing, you're emotionally invested in being such a good person, and that's just you and the person that you are and the things that you do for everybody. Even though these shitty people did shitty things, you're still so emotionally attached to being such a good fucking person that you're sending them love, you're hoping they get help, you're forgiving them, and you're hoping them and wishing for the best in their life. And that's the difference, right?
That's exactly the truth. Like, you know, I think of like Nelson Mandela, how he was incarcerated for all those years and he still did good in the world.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I I look at like celebrities who have horrible things happen to them, right? Like that comes with the territory of fame. And I know that there'll be some comments on this podcast and you know on the YouTube there'll be comments, because that's just how our paradigms work, right? It's our beliefs. So some people aren't going to agree with what it is that we're talking about, and that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their own beliefs. And some people are going to go through the same shit that, you know, we're going through right now. And hopefully you find comfort in this. And if you guys ever want to chat, please make sure that you reach out, info@asodprotein.com.
Yeah.
And we'll chat, because, you know, it is an emotional life, is full of emotions, and you do question. And I think I was listening to Master Shri. So if you are questioning why does this happen to me? What's the point of life? What, you know, why are we here? Why does bad things keep happening? You have to look inwards. You have to look inwards, because there's a message that's being blocked. So meditation. Like honestly, sitting in silence and asking for those questions. And that's what I did. I sat with my Bible yesterday and I said, just, you know, show me the answer. And the answer was, don't worry. Right. And then I get affirmations, those affirmations on my phone, and it says, you know, have belief that everything's always working out.
Yeah.
So it's just sitting still, and sometimes our thoughts can be scary and they can be assholes. Like your thoughts can be the biggest asshole. And so you have to get through that noise, right? You have to get through it, and you have to find the message that's in there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And a big thing that I do when my head does get noisy is just sit down and get, like, literally imagine yourself stepping out of your body for a minute to get out of the noise, and take a step back and almost look like you're floating above air and looking at your whole situation bird's eye view.
Yeah.
Because if you can look at it all and say, like, why am I thinking this? Why am I stressing? I can't do anything about it right now. So I'm not going to do this to myself. That itself will calm you down. And then because you know you can't control it, you can just control your thoughts around it. Go do something that makes you feel good. Listen to music. Go dance with your partner. Go for a walk with your dog. Do something that makes you feel good, because those things can easily drain our energy. Those things can easily detach us from our goal and start questioning all the things again, right? So when that happens, you're so right, Sarah. It's just keeping that mindset, knowing and believing that you're going to get through it and everything's going to work out the way it has to, and it's all going to be okay.
Yep. That's all you can do.
Mhm.
That's it, because you can't control other people and you can't control the outcome. You can just control your mind. And Neville Goddard talks about writing out. So I'm rewriting this incident that happened to for an outcome that I wanted to happen. And so when you do that, so any if you have any past trauma at all in your childhood, you can go back and pull up the memory, because that's what it is. It's just a memory, and then you can change it. So he did an exercise in that book, and he's like, go back to when you were, I think he said, like 21 years old, and somebody gave you a rose and you can smell the rose. He's like, can you smell the rose? He's like, close your eyes. And I close my eyes and I can smell the rose. And he's like, why is that? Why is it that there's no roses around, but you get the fragrance from it? It's because you're creating that experience. So you can do that with anything. So go back into your memory bank, as Donnie calls it. Pick up a memory that doesn't make you feel good and rewrite it the way you want it to. And then keep reading it over and over again and keep writing it over and over again, so that it now becomes a new memory. And this is how you change your paradigms. This is how you change your belief. This is how you change your mindset. You are in control. People always say, oh, you can't change the past. That's the biggest bullshit. Yes, you can change the past. You can change whatever it is that you want.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is even when things happen, that happen in the now, and those thoughts come up of the trauma in the past, like, write that down exactly how it happened, and bury it, destroy it, burn it, like, literally bless it, thank it for happening, that you went through it, you got through it, and you were there. Release it and then rewrite it. Like, know that it doesn't have to hold you back anymore. It doesn't have to be that way, that you went through it, you got through it, but you don't have to think of it as a negative, and switch it around, like Sarah's saying, rewrite it.
Yep.
Because the more you can do that with every negative thought or every negative, thing that's happened in your past and a trauma, the more all of that kind of fog and like now my dog's going, all that clear or that foggy stuff in your head will start to clear, and all the fog will clear. And then when things come in that you can catch really, really quick, it's going to help you from going down that spiral, right?
Yep.
So
And because I can tell you, if I didn't have that mindset, like, I would be fuming. And same with Donnie. He said, he's like, if it wasn't for you, he's like, I don't know what it is that I would do. And I was like, we just need to bless and release.
mhm.
It just makes them feel better about themselves and they want to bury themselves, and let them do it. We'll continue to be good people, and we'll just rewrite our story. And we went and we apologized to all the neighbors, right? It's a beautiful neighborhood. Like, it's such a gorgeous neighborhood, and it's not something that we wanted to happen, but some things are out of our control. And we learned lots of lessons in this. So now we know what to do going forward.
Absolutely. So, if anything ever happens to you like this, I really hope that our experiences and Sarah's story of what happened this with her this past weekend can help you through the tough times in your life. And like Sarah said, if you're ever feeling like you're going through something and you just need that person to talk to, or you need to say it out loud, send us a message at info@asodproteam.com. And we'd love to chat with you and help you through that tough time.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday.
See you later.